Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to go over top secret, classified FBI techniques on how to get the attention of Mr. Scorpio. Uh-oh, somebody has taken interest in Mr. Scorpio. But what is he thinking? What is he doing? Such a mysterious man. So much charm, so much intellect, at times. So much beneath the surface. Does he notice me? Does he not? Does he not? Well, we're gonna dive into the nitty-gritty here. And I'm gonna show you how to become a Scorpio charmer. Welcome back to the Scorpio Scriptures Podcast. I'm your host, Master J. This is where we talk about astrology, all things Scorpio related, in the expansion of consciousness. So today we're going to expand on the consciousness of Scorpio man, how to set up that Scorpio bait so he will one day take you on a date and both your lives will be mother effing great. You dig? So Mr. Scorpio, everybody's favorite man to love and favorite man to hate. How to get a Scorpio man's attention? Well, the key is, have you ever heard the saying? They say the devil's in the details. And I say this to the people that I mentor and teach a lot, because sometimes they'll do almost everything perfect, but if you're screwing together a freaking bench press or a chair and one of the screws is loose, that can make the bench press break, that can make the chair break, and someone's gonna sit on it and fall and break their head or damage themselves. Very, very dangerous. What I'm saying is the devil is in the details. It's the little things. One screw unloose, just like the common Scorpio man, one screw unloose in a chair and you sit in it and the whole thing can fall and be wrecked. You can get 99% right. But if you don't get the 1% that people don't seem to notice, people that, you might just let slip because you're not being thorough, and the whole thing can fall down. And it's kind of like that with the Scorpio man. A little bit like that. The devil's in the details. Or should I say the Scorpio's interest is in the little details. The things that people don't notice is what Scorpio noticed. Scorpio seem to live in a reverse world. These folks, these fellas, these carnivorous beings, these monstrosities, whatever we want to call them at this point. Mysterious beings, somewhat human, somewhat something, are very, very detail oriented, and they live in the world of really a reverse world. So everything that people seem to notice at first glance, the 95% of people of the population, or let's just say everyone that's not a Scorpio, they tend to notice the surface level things and they tend to notice certain things. The 10% of things other people don't notice is the 90% of things that Scorpios notice. So it's reverse. They live in a reverse world. Scorpio lives in a reverse world. They notice the subtleties, they notice the energies, they notice the small changes, they notice the small patterns that other people don't really seem to care about. Why? Because they're Scorpios and that's just the way they are. That's just the way they're programmed. They are closest to the underworld. They're closest to the the realm of the void. You guys have heard me speak about the void. The realm of the unconscious. The psychology of things. Do you understand what I'm saying? The devil's in the details. The Scorpio's interest is in the details. And by details, I mean, if you pay attention to the first 4 minutes of what I've been saying, you'll see what I'm saying. I've been telling you the answer, but at the same time, I don't tell you the answer because that's the Scorpio way. They leave the answer to be self-discovered. So when it comes to piquing your interests, are you somebody, when it comes to speaking to Scorpio's interests, are you somebody that is to be discovered? Or are you somebody that's just out there? The key to piquing the Scorpio's interest is the subtle things. Laying little breadcrumbs around. Shh, shh, shh. This is... oh dear Lord. This is How to Catch a Scorpio. The other show with Chris Hansen. Yeah, it's not Chris Hansen. Hey, I would like to know what you're doing in my daughter's house. No, this is How to Catch a Scorpio. Hey, I would like to know what you've been doing in your recent search history. Why is my every single person on my friends list open? Why have you been looking at all of my social media? How to catch a Scorpio. My name is Jay Hansen. Welcome to How to Catch a Scorpio. Excuse me, Mr. Scorpio. Why have you been looking at every single picture on Facebook since 2007 of mine? Have you been looking up my social security number and all of my exes? Why have you done that? I put my profile on private for a reason. And why did you follow me pretending to be my Aunt Susie? Aunt Susie's been dead for 4 years. How to catch a Scorpio. Leave yourself to be discovered. Very subtle. There's two things to take away from here. Very subtle. The Scorpio is always on guard, always on edge, like a statue just sitting there, paying attention to frequencies, paying attention to the subtle shifts and changes in people's personalities. Because they are the sign of purification, and the Scorpio's cutoff game is ferocious, so many times they are very aware of the nature of normal human beings, and they are looking for reasons to cut people off. Just because they are like that. So you want to be very subtle. Don't give the Scorpio a reason to cut you off. Always just be kind of subtle. Always be kind of inviting. Always just lure them in with little breadcrumbs of yourself, little breadcrumbs of who you are. Always say less than needed. Always show less than needed, and just draw them in slowly. Be very inviting. How do you befriend a scorpion? Anybody here raise scorpions? Not me, but I've watched the owners. The scorpion looks so vicious, but when they're fed and they're taken care of, they tend to develop this bond of love with the owner. You want to develop a bond of love with a Scorpio? You have to earn their trust, and the Scorpio's interest is in the details. Look at yourself. Look at your social media. Are you the type of person that would attract a Scorpio? If you want to know more, check. I've had lots of requests to do this in the past. They want me to check their social media. As my social media Scorpio proof. Yeah. All you got to do is private, certain things. Private your friend list. Take away any scantily clad photos and give yourself that goody two shoes appearance, that kind appearance. If you need help Scorpio proofing your social media, check out scorpioscriptures.com. It's an official service now because I had so many requests. But leave breadcrumbs, leave little things to be desired. Pull the Scorpio in, lure them, bait them. How to get their interest. Never ever offend them, but pay attention to what offends them and be very subtle about it. Do things in a subtle way with the Scorpio because they live in the realm of subtlety, nuance points. Everything around the edge is what the Scorpio pays attention to. They don't pay attention to the main circle. They don't pay attention to the people that are taking all of the glory and all of the spotlight. They're looking for the people who are just kind of around the edge. And those are the people that pique the Scorpio's interest the most. It is a slow process of arousing and consistently arousing the Scorpio's nature to get them to move to you, to get them to come to you. Slow changes, small changes. With the Scorpio, they're like, did you notice that? Did you notice she just did that? And most people who are not, Scorpiolosophers or speak the language of Scorpiology, they'll go, what are you talking about? Nothing happened. But to the Scorpio, it's like everything just happened. There was a tiny, tiny change there. Did you notice that change in the pattern of her behavior? That's what Scorpios do. They just notice these things. So you gotta speak their language. Becoming a master at baiting Scorpios. Pique the interest. Subtlety. The Scorpio's interest is in the details. See what I'm saying? Patterns, details, drawing one in, getting on their radar, but doing it in such a way that it's not so upfront, leaving yourself to be discovered. Slowly, 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 before you know it, you might have caught yourself a Scorpio or two.